I was just 15 when my mom looked me in the eyes, hugged me, and then walked away, leaving me stranded at the airport while she flew off to Paris with her new husband. At first, I thought it was some cruel mistake, until I realized she had planned it all along. And that betrayal? It turned me into someone she never expected me to become. Before I begin, let me know in the comments where you're watching this from. I love seeing how far these stories travel. And if you enjoy emotional revenge stories that hit deep, don't forget to subscribe. Your support means the world. I grew up in a single-parent household after my dad passed away when I was 10. It was just me and Mom, and for a while, I believed we were inseparable. She worked hard as a nurse, and I clung to her as the only family I had left. But then came Brian, the wealthy, smooth-talking man who swept my mom off her feet when I was 14. Suddenly, Mom wasn't just my mom anymore. She was dressing differently, laughing at jokes that weren't funny, and spending less and less time at home. I kept telling myself it was okay. Maybe she deserved happiness. Maybe Brian would be like a second dad. But deep down, something didn't feel right. At first, it was small things. Family dinners where Brian did all the talking, while I sat there invisible. Mom canceling our weekend traditions because Brian already made plans. And then the big announcement. They were going on a luxury vacation to Paris. Mom smiled at me like she had a surprise. "Sweetheart, you're coming too." For a moment, my heart exploded with joy. But that excitement was crushed when I realized the truth. We drove to the airport together. Mom had her designer bags, Brian had his smug grin, and I had just one little backpack. I was already nervous. Something felt off. When we got to the check-in counter, Mom handed me a ticket. But it wasn't to Paris. It wasn't even on the same airline. My ticket was for a flight back to my dad's old hometown, where my estranged aunt lived. A woman I hadn't seen in years. "Mom, what is this?" I whispered, panicked. She squeezed my hand and smiled like it was nothing. "Sweetheart, this trip is for me and Brian. You'll have fun with your aunt. We'll be back in 2 weeks." My throat tightened. "You're leaving me? Here? Alone?" Brian just rolled his eyes. "She'll be fine. She's old enough." And then it hit me. Mom wasn't just forgetting me. She was discarding me. I begged her. Tears streamed down my face as I clutched her sleeve. "Please, Mom. Don't leave me here. I don't even know Aunt Karen anymore." People in line stared. The ticket agent looked uncomfortable. But Mom leaned down, kissed my forehead and whispered, "Don't make a scene." Then she turned arm in arm with Brian and walked through security, without looking back. I stood frozen, surrounded by strangers, abandoned by the only parent I had left. My chest felt like it was caving in. At that moment, something inside me broke. The airport security called my aunt to pick me up. Karen arrived hours later, shocked and furious at what Mom had done. She hugged me tighter than Mom ever had in years and promised I'd never be alone again. But I couldn't sleep that night. I replayed the scene over and over. The way Mom smiled, the way Brian smirked, the way she chose him over me. That was the moment I swore to myself. One day, they would regret leaving me behind. Years passed. Living with Aunt Karen gave me stability, discipline, and love I never expected. She encouraged me to study, to dream bigger. By the time I turned 21, I was in college studying law, with a sharp mind and sharper determination. Meanwhile, Mom and Brian's perfect life was crumbling. Brian's shady business deals were catching up to him, and Mom, who once chased luxury, was neck-deep in debt. I knew this because I kept track. Quietly, from a distance, I followed their downfall. And when the time was right, I made my move. Brian was facing a fraud investigation. He needed a lawyer. Desperate, Mom reached out to me after years of silence. "Sweetheart," she said over the phone, her voice dripping with fake warmth. "We need your help. You've always been so smart. Maybe you could represent Brian." I let the silence hang before answering. "You mean the same Brian who told you to abandon me at the airport?" She stammered. "That was a mistake." "No, Mom." I cut her off. "That was a choice." Instead of helping, I made sure the evidence against Brian reached the right hands. His fraud empire collapsed overnight, and he was sentenced to prison. As for Mom, she lost everything. The mansion, the luxury cars, the vacations. And when she tried to come crawling back to me, I simply told her, "You left me at 15. I'm just returning the favor." In the end, I didn't need her love anymore. I had built a new life, with Aunt Karen, with real family, with people who never abandoned me. The lesson? Sometimes the people who are supposed to protect you will be the ones who hurt you the most. But betrayal can either destroy you, or shape you into someone stronger than they ever imagined. And Mom, she taught me the greatest lesson of all: how to recognize the difference between family by blood and family by love.